So there's this Batman movie quote that stuck with me ever since I first heard it, and I want to try and explain why. Now, in the movie, as Bruce is preparing for his climactic battle against Superman, the fight that the entire story has been building up to, Alfred quietly comes over to try and dissuade him. But Bruce's answer to that, I think, is so fascinating because he tells him something at first seemingly unrelated. He tells Alfred,
"I'm older now than my father ever was."
And there is just so much weight to that, because imagine what that realization must be like for him. Bruce's entire crime-fighting journey began with that one traumatizing moment of losing his parents in front of him. And so throughout all of his adventures, he's held on to that one frozen memory. And so for all this time, whenever he's thought about his father, he likely kept on imagining him as whatever he looked like on that night. He's stuck forever imagining him as a young man, always looking up at him from the perspective of a child. And so it must be so mentally jarring for him to wake up one morning and look in the mirror and realize that his face is more aged, his hair more gray than he ever saw on his own father. And so for Bruce, this shocking moment pushes him to reflect on the Wayne legacy, and it jolts in him this need to take on greater responsibility because he's worrying again that he's not doing right by his father's memory. And I love this because it really does help us understand why Bruce is acting so irrationally in this movie. People like to criticize Batman in this movie, saying he's not acting like himself, but in a way that is the point. He's not himself. Bruce is in an incredibly precarious mental state due to a long and tired career as the hero and due to this realization of how old he is now. And so that crisis, him grasping for some meaning, some answer to this, leads him to believe that, in a way, defeating Superman is the only way to honor his father and his family's legacy. And to be clear, that conclusion is wrong. The entire point of the movie is him realizing he's wrong, and it takes a while for him to get up and correct that. But our takeaway from that can be, well, how do we think we'd react to that realization? How would we face the prospect of our own legacy after reaching and passing the adulthood we always saw in our parents? Batman in this movie doesn't seem to be handling that pressure all that well, and we can either sympathize with that or criticize him for it, but turning it back on us, do we really think we would handle it better? And the truth is, it's not a question with any clear answer, which is why I think it's so fascinating that this movie is trying to ask it. Thanks for watching, drop a like if you can, and let me know your favorite Batman movie quote.